Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cup of Joe with Joe and Joe podcast. I am your host, Joe, and with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Joe.
Let's talk about tall people.
All right, so Tall Girl, the Netflix film,
Terrible.
it's a masterpiece.
You know, when that movie came out, I actually watched it. I was like, you know what? People are really ripping on this.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, it can't be that bad. It's that bad.
It's very bad.
Like, it's
The last
so
line
dumb.
of the movie, the last word of the movie is tall. And then a Maggie Rogers song plays. It's so funny.
But we're not talking about that.
No, we're not here to talk about Tall Girl. We're here to talk about Tall Boy.
Big boy.
Oh boy. I'm gonna. Every time I say boy now, my brain's just gonna be super self-conscious of it. Attack on Titan, Episode 8, Assassin's Bullet. We're here, baby. This is the halfway point for what we believe is the season, but we're not actually really so sure about that, are we, Joe?
And yeah. You know, I had an epiphany, and by epiphany,
Joe
I
had a religious epiphany.
I almost shit myself when I realized it. I actually was like, oh, I'm like, no. I'm like, why? Why am I just realizing this now? So, as we said in the first episode, it was announced that there was going to be 16 episodes for this final season. But I read this article right before I went to watch the this newest episode, and it was kind of talking about how, oh yeah, this is the halfway mark, or so we think. And I'm like, why did they say so we think? And I went down this rabbit hole that apparently, what was it? It's Studio Mappa, right?
Yeah, Mappa is the studio that's making it.
But
right now.
even the studio, nobody has confirmed or denied if there's going to be a part 2 of this season, like what they did in season 3, because they didn't announce part 2 till a little bit later. And realizing that scared the shit out of me. I'm like, oh my god.
Which is interesting because I don't know. Considering the pace at which the final season seems to be going at, and this being the halfway point, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if there was more, if there was a part 2 or like a final. Because I did some research as well, and some websites were saying there might even be like a final movie kind of a thing. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised by it, but I don't know. There's just something nice about being like, "Hey, here's your final 16 episode package and enjoy." But I don't know.
I agree.
I wouldn't, I wouldn't turn my nose up to more Attack on Titan content. If it's this good, consistently, I'd be like, just bring it on.
And they don't miss a beat, man. They really don't. And this episode, it's another good one, and good in a different sense, because some of our questions, some of the questions that Joe and I both brought up get answered, or not even answered, but you get a little more crumb trail. You know, they're like, okay, we'll give you a little more information. We're not giving you the whole shebang. We're not just gonna flat out tell you that Reiner's the armored Titan and Bertolt's the colossal Titan. We're not gonna do that, but we're gonna give you a little bit.
We're not gonna do that again, and they do it again. It's like, oh my god. Yeah. So this episode, it's much less action heavy than the other preceding episodes, and I believe I owe you like, I don't know, a Wawa coffee or some
Definitely.
crap, because you were
I
the one
called
that
it.
said they're not even really gonna fight, and within the first 2 minutes, we episode picks up with Reiner in armored Titan form, or it's like a messed up armored Titan form, and Eren turns around holding the Jaw Titan in his hand. They run at each other. They trade. I think Eren is the only one that trades a punch. He just
One
breaks
punches
his
the
jaw.
shit out of him.
Yep. Because Eren is like, I am going to kill you. He's not malicious about it. He seems very matter of fact. He's like, all right, time to kill you.
Cold-blooded murder.
Yeah. Reiner is very much so just like, I'm just grabbing the Jaw Titan back, dude. This is all I can do right now. And Aaron realizes that, and then he's like, yeah, all right, and then he leaves. So
Yeah, it was.
he
I liked how it picked up right where the other episode ended. I've been liking that with these episodes. And yeah, he just fucking one punched the shit out of him. And but the thing was, and we were talking. You and I were hypothesizing like, oh, why is Reiner a spiky boy, um,
yeah,
a
I thought he was
spiky
like
and sleepy
his
boy?
next evolution.
No, it's more he doesn't have the energy to fully form the armored titan, or at least that's what I think, because it looked like it was almost like the armor was coming over and then it like stopped midway
Yeah,
armor
that's what I
formation.
was thinking as well. And after looking at it a little bit more, like, because you don't see a whole lot of it, because again, it's literally only the first like 2 minutes of the episode. But looking at it more, can definitely see it. It's nowhere near as formed, and that's when you're like, ah, so he's kind of half-assing it almost. And he's just like, I just need to get the Jaw Titan back. That's it, man. I just need to do this one thing.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask, like, I see, they make it a point that he stole Porco back, the Jaw Titan, but why didn't Aaron just grab the Jaw Titan from him?
Well,
You know
because I
what I
think they
mean?
don't. Yeah, he says like neither one of us have the strength left to continue fighting. So I'm fairly certain it would have been like two old ladies fighting over like I don't know a crumpet or some shit,
Oh,
where
good crumpet.
they're going for it, and then they're slow and they're not all that agile, and then maybe just a bit of like the cat fighting, like the hand flapping sort of a thing, and like that sort of thing. I'd imagine that's probably what the Titans would do because they're so tired. They're just like, God, just stop it. No, you stop it. No, you. And then just like little hand slappies. Um, so I think Aaron realized he's like, all right, I got the Warhammer. I'm good for right now. I should probably go. Um, and so Mikasa yoinks him back, and we get the meeting between Aaron and Armin. I remember the name, and
Thank you.
Armin, and
This is big.
it's it's it feels like it should be big, but it's not. It's just sort of like there,
It's
which
weird,
is
but
fine.
because they did that, and I'm like, to me, I'm like, why isn't Armin like, why does this feel weird? I'm like, why is there tension here? And it can be that tension of okay, now, fucking Armin just became a nuke and killed all these people, but at the same time, the fact of what happens after Aaron gets on the ship, we get a little, we get a little bit more of an idea of what's been going on in the Scouts regime.
Yeah, Aaron's kind of an asshole.
Everybody's mad at Aaron.
Everyone's mad at Aaron. Most of which
Everybody hates
is
Aaron, the new TV
everybody
show on
hates.
TBS.
Yep, there we go. Um, Probably who hates him the most, Captain Levi, who proceeds to kick the shit out of him yet again.
What a
And
kickable
then,
face you have.
what a kickable face. Love that. Love that callback. And then the scouts, two scouts surround him and just pistols trained on him. And you're like, oh, well, this isn't what I was expecting. Like,
Not
the,
at
the
all.
viewer, at least. I'm sure Aaron knew exactly what he was getting into. Um, that or he just doesn't care anymore, which also is something that seems to be happening to him, where his face is just so depressed all the time until the end of this episode, but we'll get there in a bit. Um, but yeah, and so after Aaron gets back on board and we realize it's Aaron kind of went rogue, and the letters that he was sending, when you might have thought, oh yeah, they're communicating back and forth because they've been planning this. It's like, really, Aaron's been planning this, and he's just sending information to the scouts and is like, hey, I'm here. You should probably come pick me up, otherwise Paradise doesn't have the founding titan anymore. And they're like, God, fuck, Aaron. Can we go get Aaron? Can we? We gotta go. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's go. Let's go get this fucking douche.
Yeah, it definitely alludes to the fact of, okay, it wasn't like, oh, Aaron's like, okay, we're gonna do it now. It was more like, oh yeah, we're doing this whether you like it or not, and you should probably help me out. And it was like, oh, there was probably so much, knowing Levi, there's probably so much planning going on. And Aaron's like, yeah, fuck that. I'm a go big. I'm a smash.
Aaron want to smash things. Yeah. And then we go back to Gabby and Falco.
She cray
And Gabby,
cray.
she is she is bloodthirsty at this point. She has rifle in hand and she is just gunning for the airship. She's like, I am going to murk everyone and I don't care who gets in my way. And then Falco is all like, hey Gabby, maybe you shouldn't do that, you know? You're probably gonna die. Hey Gabby, you're gonna die. So she's dealing with a lot, but you get a cool insight. Cool being the not correct
Adjective.
interesting
Adjective.
adjective. You get an insert adjective here. Insight into why Gabby cares so much and hates the Paradise Islanders so much, especially right now. Joe, would you care to explain what's going through Gabby's head?
Well, Gabby has this whole idea of she, she wants people to be proud that they're Eldian, and pretty much her life she's been working towards getting Eldians more respect. And she views this as just completely destroying any chance of people respecting Eldians. Any chance of her and her family being respected and living a normal life and being treated as equals and being proud of actually being Eldian. But she views this as kind of one rotten apple, not one rotten apple, but from her perspective, it's like a rotten apple destroying the whole batch. And she's cray cray. And the one thing that I found one of the most interesting things in this episode is just the quick little conversation that Falco and her have when Falco actually stops her. And you can and Falco's having flashbacks to when Aaron and Reiner are talking. And it seems like Falco might be sympathizing a little bit with Aaron. Did you get that vibe at all?
100%. And
Okay.
if not sympathizing, I think he was definitely like Falco is clearly the most mature out of the what are the recruits? What are
You can
Falco and Gabby called?
the not champions. What's it? Nah, you can call them
I think it's
recruits. I think that
champions. Something like that. Whatever they are, that group of kids. I think he's clearly the most emotionally mature of them because he understands the whole. Like he's not nearly as radicalized as the rest of them. Not nearly as much as Gabby, at least. And while you understand why she's more radicalized, because she has this dream of Eldians being one day respected and they can be proud of wearing their armbands as Eldians because they'll be beneficial to society. Falco understands that war in any form is bad, and it's only reinforced by what Aaron tells him, which is when he turns to him when they're in the like the cellar back when he's first meeting up with Reiner, and he tells him it's the same, on the island, referring to the fact that Aaron discovered that there are both good and bad people in Marley, and letting Falco know it's the same on Paradise. There's just good and bad people anywhere you go. Isn't that a crazy thought? And so I love when Falco tells Gabby, he says it's revenge for what our champions did to them. And he recalls Aaron asking Reiner, why was my mother eaten by a Titan? And then obviously he was present for when Reiner explained, I want to be a hero, just kill me now, all that sort of stuff. And so he says that to Gabby. I don't think he really means to say it to Gabby. Like I think he knows what he's saying won't have any effect. But I think it's
it's
him
more
more
for
so.
himself.
Yeah, exactly. He's kind of like realizing in his head. He's like, this is just a cycle, and he might be like he's thinking, when is it gonna end? Sort of a thing. I know Gene is thinking that when is it gonna end in a little bit, but we'll get there. And he says that, and the more interesting thing is then when Gabby responds, "Did you see it?" And he's like, "No," and then she just goes, "Neither did I." And I was like, yeah, your emotions are really high. You probably don't give a shit, like thinking rationally right now. You want to kill someone.
Yeah, Gabby. great character, but damn, she cray cray. And the fact that, you know, I like the little bit of continuity of that guy who's kind of like the last person protecting the airship as they're starting to make their way out. Like you get a little bit of like a reference that, oh, he was like a higher up in one of the other branches of the military, but now he's like, no, like I'm a recruit, like you got to treat me like one. And I kind of like
Yeah.
that, but then he gets killed by Gabby.
Uh-huh. Gabby just no scopes him and headshot immediately, and he's down for the count, and you're
Well,
like,
he didn't shoot
whoa.
also because he's like, oh, a kid.
Yeah, but
And I
also
kind of
he's
felt bad.
flying on a blimp and hanging on a string, and Gabby goes slipping and sliding and then fires and kills him. I make it sound like I care that much. I really don't. I just kind of find it a little funny that she just is immediately like, pull trigger, insert COD montage here.
Yeah,
Like she could be
it was,
unfazed, you know? She
and
could
I
be a
love
part
how
of 100 Thieves or some shit.
I love how surprised she is. She's like, it hit?
Yeah, she's like, oh, I didn't expect that.
And
Because I
then
think she also expected to die.
yeah, and then when his body falls, damn, they really do kill people so well in this show. When the body falls, you're like, oh, that
Goddamn
sounded,
ragdoll.
yeah, you're like, that sounded real. And she's got this crazy idea. I'm gonna jump on the ship. I'm gonna kill some people.
I'm gonna
And
go kill some people today.
yeah, and there's this decisive moment of what was it, Falco's older brother is then chasing after them, being like, you guys gotta get back here, what are you doing? And Falco has to decide, like, okay, am I gonna try and save Gabby, or am I just gonna be a smart person? And he's not a smart person.
No, he's saving Gabby 100% of the time. I'm the one who's going to be the armored titan, is what he says to her. And I mean, the watchers have the context of he doesn't think he's better than Gabby. He's trying to save Gabby from a life of perpetual war.
Yeah. And he realizes, like, okay, this is probably certain death. And when they get on there from the scouts perspective, they're all celebrating. Jean or Jean, however you want to pronounce this, is being a bit introspective, like, damn, like this is really having a mental toll on him, but he does have this leadership role where he has to stay strong. And then you got Connie and Sasha and him, and they're all just happy, and it's like, I don't know, it felt pretty good. It felt weird with, they just murdered all these people. But at the same time, with all the stuff they've been through and the fact that I've been watching them, like, it kind of made me happy to see them so happy.
Joe, they're murderers, but they're my murderers.
That's my murderer.
That's my little murderer. Continue.
Thank you. But not everybody's, super happy. Like I said, John's a little introspective. Obviously, Aaron and Levi are just fucking all in their feels. Levi's pissed at Shiz, and Aaron is just. I don't even know what emotion to describe for him. I don't know if he's depressed, if he's like he's in his own isolated bubble. He seems so disconnected from everything else.
Yeah.
And it's the same way Mikasa and Armin appear to be as well. And it's just a weird feeling on a ship, and you hear this little thud. And is it Connie that says, "Hey, what was that?"
It is. I think it's Sasha. Yeah,
Oh,
it's Sasha.
Oh yeah. And next thing you know, you see Gabby just roll in onto the ship, point, shoot, and pull a trigger, and her shot lands. Joe, what happened?
Rest in peace, potato girl.
That's what I have written down on my page. I said Sasha rip.
She
Straight to the gut.
got her back. Yep.
And
Man,
do you think she was
sucks.
aiming for Sasha on purpose?
That's the thing. I don't know. I bet
They
she
didn't make it
was.
seem like it was, but in my I'm like, okay, if it's Gabby, she's definitely going for the person. Like she had that face burned in the back of her eyelids.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know, maybe like when she was climbing in, she got a look. Although they made it seem like it was really quick from the moment she
Hmm.
started climbing into when she rolled out. But yeah, either way, she kills Sasha with the gun of the person that Sasha killed in front of her, which is rather poetic in a way, and also horrific. And then right before Jean or Jean or whatever pulls the trigger on her and she fires on him, Falco runs in and it's just like, no, 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 no. And he smacks Gabi out of the way. And then the Survey Corps proceeds to beat the living crap out of these two kids.
Which I was so happy they did, because I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, if they really just detained them, I'm like, that is going to be it actually would have pissed me off. I'm like, if you're in damn war and these kids come on your ship and shoot one of your like fellow troops, you're going to beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, it sucks, but it makes sense. Um, and then, Falco is very much like, hey, I'm not here to pick a fight. I'm just here to make sure Gabby doesn't get herself killed. And Gabby is just foaming at the mouth, screaming at everyone, and is like, I'm ready to become a martyr. The will of the war chief Zeke will survive.
Yeah,
And
she sounds
then,
like someone who's been like brainwashed by like a cult.
yeah, 100%, which really that's what it is. And then I love Jean is just like, yeah, well, we'll
You
bring you
could
to
talk to
who's in
him.
charge, and you can tell that person that yourself. And you open the doors, and then it's like, oh shit, Zeke's alive, which I'm not that happy about
I'm not
because I like
frustrated
the way he
about it.
died. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not frustrated about it because he's he's. This is where you speak. He's
He's on our side? Question mark? Exclamation
question
point?
mark.
Underscore? Question
Yeah.
mark? Is
just
he?
add in a just add in a 69 at the end of that with another exclamation point, and then we're golden. But yeah, so he's like strategizing with the Paradise Island people, because now you have founding Titan and someone of royal blood, which I guess Aaron never told them that. No, he must have told them that because that's how it works because they already know that Historia is of royal blood as well. But I guess you need Zeke for something? I don't know. We'll get there in the future of the show, I'm sure. But it's cool because you're like, okay, so there are machinations that we don't understand yet that have been going on. And I am intrigued to see, like, there's gotta be a flashback episode now because, like, they have to explain some of this stuff, right?
Joe?
Yeah.
Okay. So, did you watch the after credits thing?
No, I never do. You know this.
I know. But for this one, I think I can tell you.
Okay, fine. I will listen.
It's the flashback episodes next.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that was one of the things. I wrote it down and I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm like, it's one of those where like, I was like, oh, I'm like, I don't know. I kind of really want to talk about like, it's a talking point that, you know, we've been doing pretty good at predicting this stuff. We're at the halfway mark. You said this, like, this is probably when they're going to do the flashback. And
I did?
yeah,
Oh!
you said it. You said it. Yeah, you said it
Oh!
in like the second or third episode we recorded. You're like, well,
I
they'll
am the
probably do
greatest.
that at like the halfway mark.
I am prophet of Attack on Titan. All bow before me.
Uh,
Are you
um,
bowing?
uh, yes,
Okay, good.
but
You're also
yeah.
part prophet because you did the thing with the fight in the beginning.
Ah, yeah, bow before me.
I just did a little bow and a little
Okay.
curtsy for extra flavor.
Ooh, appreciate that. Um, but oh my goodness, so much in this episode with barely any action. Um, so Zeke's on the ship. He's still tied up though, but apparently they're insinuating that like they ask him, "Oh, did everything go according to your plan?" like they're not like holding him like I don't know, it's I can't read it thoroughly. Like I don't know if Aaron convinced him while he was in I don't know the details, but they're insinuating that for some reason Zeke isn't a complete enemy. He is he's either a turncoat or he's somewhere in the middle, maybe.
Yeah, so I believe Zeke is loyal to the Eldian people, like most Eldians. And there's a line in there where he says something like, "Now that we have the founding Titan and someone of royal blood, we can start forging our path to the new Eldian Empire," or something like that. Um, and so I think it's a tenuous relationship right now between Zeke and his loyal follower, tall lady, and then the rest of the Paradise Islanders, who I believe they have a common end goal, which I believe is to free the Eldians because they can sense the end of the Titan power era. It's coming. It's coming. The end is coming for them. Technology is going to overtake their power. So I believe it's at this point that Zeke is like, okay, so I need to send these guys back into like the Stone Age for a bit and like free my people now before they get too powerful, and then we'll just I don't know. I don't know what his actual end game is, but it's like now is the time before the technology fully overtakes the power of the Titans, is what it seems like it's going to be. So that's what I believe is like the similar end goal, but again, they've killed a lot of each other's friends in the past, so it's not exactly a, you know, cushy relationship they got going on here.
Yeah, I think it was one of those where it's what is it? They both have similar enemies and they decided to work together, kind of, put their past besides them. I'm interested to learn more about it. I also we now get a fully clear look at that the girl Eldian that was wearing the beard, that you got right that it wasn't Armin, and that apparently, I mean, Peak says it, and I guess we'll maybe get more with the flashback episode, that there was a scout ship that was sent to Paradise that never came back.
There were a few in the beginning of the show. I believe Zeke said there was something like 20 or 30 different like ships that they sent out there that just never returned. And the implication is that, the Paradise Islanders are now sinking the ships. But clearly they have some new friends from some of those scout ships.
Which I am so interested to learn about. Yeah, I think the introduction of that character, I don't even know what her name is. I just have her written down as the girl Eldian. Um,
Tall girl.
or
This
is
is
she?
tall girl.
Oh my god. She is an Eldian, right? Did they confirm that?
I
Or I would
believe so
assume
because
so.
I'm pretty sure Peak says in the beginning like the Eldian like they send Eldian scouts
Mm-hmm.
to the
Yeah.
place. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure
Okay.
she is also Eldian.
And that's interesting. And then we get the whole Sasha dying. It's really emotional, and even like I don't know. I thought it was wild. I'm like, oh my god, they really just killed off Sasha. And she's not like
Yeah.
a huge character, but still, that's pretty fucking huge.
Yeah, that was the thing that I thought was kind of weird about this episode where they they treated it like Sasha dying was this massive thing, which it is because obviously she's been around since the beginning, and but like she's always been like this kind of ancillary side character that's just kind of been orbiting everyone else. So it feels like the safest kill almost of like the original group, sort of. So I'm not like I'm don't get me wrong, I'm still like, oh no, my potato girl, she gone. But the way that it was treated in the show, it was like this insane moment, and I'm just like, you're at like an 11, I'm at like an 8.
Yeah,
You could
but
dial
think
it down a
about
little
this.
bit.
Think about this. So I completely agree with you, and from our perspective, it's not a big deal. But from their perspective, that is a warranted reaction, obviously.
Right, it's a fellow soldier they've been through thick and thin with for like a decade.
Exactly. So that the reaction makes sense. It's just we don't react the same way. like if Mikasa had got shot and died, like the holy crap.
I think the internet would be on fire.
All the e-boys would be frustrated.
Just a little bit, just a little bit.
But, you know, and then once everybody finds out Sasha's dead, it's this whole crazy frenzy, but Aaron is very like distraught the whole time, just kind of in his, zoned out personality, I guess if you want to call it. And then once he hears that, he kind of starts chuckling. And you're like, what the fuck? Aaron is definitely losing his mind. And then the camera pans down to his face, and I actually froze. The face they drew on him, the way they made it look, oh my god, he really is. He scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, so he's been Stone Cold Steve Austin for the entire series, no emotion whatsoever. And the first time we finally see emotion from Aaron is in hearing that Sasha is dead. And, he does that little bit of a chuckle in the beginning, almost because I don't think he quite believes it. He's kind of like in disbelief about it. But then that horrifying grimace that he makes for the rest of the rest of the episode until it ends, it's because, and like Jean or Jean says it in like it lays it out bare in front of him, and he's like, "This is a direct result of what you did, Aaron. This is on you." And I think even without Jean or Jean saying that, Aaron knows that. And so I think this might be one of the first legitimate casualties that really hits him hard. And I'm interested to see what happens with him with the rest of the series.
Yeah, and then after this, then it pretty much ends there. And like I said, the next episode they did when they were showing it, it's the flashback episode, which I'm super excited for. I think the halfway point was a really smart place to do it. I guess they technically they succeeded their mission, or at least the first part of their mission.
Yeah, the first battle for the new Eldian Empire, I think, is what Redhead Boy says.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to kind of get some insight of what happened in between those 4 years, because I think it's going to be huge, and I think we're going to learn a lot. I bet you the flashback episode isn't just one episode. I bet you it's like two.
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah.
But I bet you it's going to be, again, we're moving away from the action, and it's going to be a lot more dialogue and learning, I guess, backstory.
Yeah, and I'm totally okay with that, because we've had, we had the build up with the first 4 episodes, and then in the 4th episode into the 5th and 6th and 7th has just been nothing but action on action on action, and like, that sort of stuff, and that's been real good so far. And now I'm ready. Pull it back, slow it down a little bit. Let me seep in this world. Let me learn some of the stuff that's been going on for the last 4 years. I'm ready, man. Bring it on.
Joe, I have one final question for you.
Alrighty.
If you had to bet money on if it's going to end at 16 episodes or if there's more, what would you put money on?
I'm going to put money on that there's going to be either a movie or a part 2 at the end of this, because I've been thinking about it, and at the rate that they've been going through material in the episodes, like we're halfway through the season, and in real time, well, I guess the last 4 or 5 episodes have been taking place over like an hour. So it seems to me like the timing wouldn't quite make sense. So I'm putting money on there's going to be something after the 16th episode.
I would also put my money on that. And it's weird because had I not read that little article and sent it to you, I wouldn't have thought
have
that.
no idea.
It wouldn't even have crossed my mind. I would have just think, oh my goodness, how are they doing this? They're going to wrap this up so fast. Like, oh, I forgot. They have the power to add stuff at the end.
They could choose to print more money by making more of the show. Yeah. God, whatever they do, I just hope that the end of these 16 episodes like gives us some good closure, and that whatever if something does come after, it doesn't take another 2 years or something like that. Because honestly, my heart might explode.
Yeah, man. I really I want it to wrap up. Like it's one of the sometimes during it when shows wrap up, you really don't want it to end, but this one, I want this thing to end. I want to see how this all plays out.
Yeah. Want a nice little bow tied on top of it. Much like this episode, in which I am doing that very thing right now. So, everyone, we love you. We love you all. Be sure to leave a comment on theories and stuff like that for Attack on Titan episodes and all that sort of stuff. Um, yeah, Joe, anything else that you have to add?
I got nothing else to add. Uh, I can't stop thinking about Attack on Titan. I can't.
And I can't stop.